Well, thank you so much, Jay, and thanks for the opportunity to share with you what I think is one of the most critical elements of a successful business, and that's the importance of building your personal brand. Your personal brand is actually your story, and it really helps to build the trusting business relationships that we're all looking to make. I'm sure you're familiar with the saying, it's not what you know, but rather who you know. Successful interactions and business transactions are driven by people, and it's the connections we make that open doors to so many of the opportunities. One of my favorite quotes is so simple, yet so impactful, and that's connection is currency. Professional connections are the currency between two people, whether it's a financial currency that is an outcome of having met somebody, or the relationship and the bond that's developed between two people. Connections are truly the currency of your network. This is frequently referred to as relationship selling, which is creating meaningful connections with people who share common goals, values, and objectives. And being a huge football fan, I like to use a lot of sports analogies. Your ticket onto the field is not due to your technical ability. It's the referral from someone the client knows, likes, and trusts. So your personal brand really goes well beyond your job credentials and your technical ability. It's your reputation, it's your story, and how you communicate your value to your network. In this increasingly interconnected world, people do business with those that we all know, like, and trust. And your personal brand is the first step in building that trust. And who you are is more important than the jersey you wear. It's more than the shingle that you hang or the company that you may work for. Your personal brand is your story, and your story makes it easier for people to connect with you and to understand what you stand for, with the ultimate goal of building a trusting relationship. So like all great teams, it's important to have a playbook and a strategy for how to grow your business. What I will share with you today is how to create a personal brand and write a 30-second commercial, also known as an elevator pitch, and define your ideal client profile, also usually called or referred to as ICP, and then identify who the ideal referral partners are in your network, people that you'd like to meet. Second, we'll go through how to develop a networking strategy and how to approach the relationship selling overall. So what is relationship selling? It's an approach that focuses on building strong, long-term relationships with customers and referral partners that make up your network. And this is especially important to the small business owners, because they are so much more inclined to work with people through referrals because they value that personal connection and a more tailored solution than transactional sales. And as the Gallup organization says, referrals are the foundation of relationship selling. They don't just bring in new customers, they bring in the right customers, the ones who are already pre-sold on your brand value. In fact, 80% of new business comes from referrals and networking. By effectively building a strong network, you can increase the growth of your business exponentially. So the first step in developing the foundation of relationship selling is building a personal brand. How do you go about doing that? Well, your personal brand is important because, as I said before, it's your story that you communicate to the world, reflecting your niche, core values, and your exceptional capabilities. There's 3 core elements to developing a personal brand. First, the client issues that you solve, what you do, and how you differentiate from a sea of others that do similar things to what you do. Building your personal brand and brand story includes what solutions that you provide to clients, what the client pain points are and problems that you solve, what differentiates your solution, and how these differentiators create value for a client. Once you've answered these questions, you can translate that into a 30-second commercial to share in preparation for proper networking. For example, my 30-second commercial is, I'm Susie Cashion with GrowthWise Consulting. I'm a fractional CRO, Chief Revenue Officer, helping small to mid-sized businesses between $3 and $50 million to design high-performing sales teams. I do more than just consult. I do the work by implementing a proven sales operating and management system to drive sustainable revenue growth. The business owners I help are frustrated with flat or declining revenue, upset about employee turnover, and nervous about their future and their ability to grow sales. Do you know any businesses dealing with these challenges? Once you've identified your 30-second commercial elevator pitch, the next step is defining who your ideal client profile is. Your ICP, or target customer, will influence the types of ideal referral partners that you also want to meet. So as it relates to my ICP, the buyer or someone who would need my services is generally a CEO and sometimes a CFO. The buyer is someone who has the authority to sign a contract from you. A referral partner is someone who has relationships with your ideal clients and are open to making an introduction when a need has been identified. In my case, other fractional roles are really great. Fractional CMOs, business coaches, EOS implementers, and other business service providers that have the same ideal client profile. Spending time to clearly identify your ICP is an exercise that I encourage you to do every year. Sometimes your business may shift, your products or services that you provide can change, and so therefore I would refresh your ideal client profile. Here is a worksheet that I offer to anybody that might be interested in going through this exercise to identify who your ideal client profile is. Across the top, I've done some work as it relates to my ICP. First, you identify what's the type of company, the size of the company, what is the psychographic of the CEO, what are the personal goals. They want to grow their business, they want to retain business, retain employees. And then what might be the objections to purchasing or actually engaging with my services? They can't afford it. They've had bad experiences with past consultants. Change might be difficult. The timing might be off. So it's really important to crystallize what the objections might be or the common pushbacks that you receive going into these selling conversations. On the bottom row, you can see compelling stories. So that identifies what your ideal client profile's pain points are. They're not growing. They have no go-to-market strategy. They have no formal sales process. The solutions that I provide, and then how I differentiate myself from other consultants that focus on driving revenue for companies. Similarly, you do the same exercise for your referral partners. A lot of this is the same. Across the top, you can see it's the ideal background and the traits are in your referral partner are those that align with your ICP. You want to share referral partners. You want to make sure that they have the same personal goals. At what point are they in growing their business? Are they even open to networking? And then I like to classify my pipeline of referral partners, and I'll go through that in a minute, but I'm really looking for what I call or ambassador type referral partners. Those are people that have relationships with my exact ideal client profile. They're actively growing their business. They're open to a minimum of every 8-week cadence of having either coffee or a Zoom call with you. And then what are the compelling stories, the things that I would would want to share during a networking one-on-one or coffee. Same thing, the same pain points. Here are the problems that I solve. Here are the solutions that I offer my client base. And here's how I differentiate myself from other sales consultants in the space. Once you've identified your ideal client profile and the people, the referral partners that you want to network with, you're ready to have actual one-on-ones. So here's 3 steps to successful referral partner meetings. Scheduling the meeting. Be very intentional. Come with questions, kind of having done your homework. Do research on the individual. Go on their LinkedIn. Understand where they went to college or what their company is and a little bit about their background. Then take the initiative to actually be the one to send the invite. And come prepared, as I said, with a list of questions and information that you would like to acquire from that individual. Then during the meeting, obviously, you'll say your 30-second elevator pitch, what it is you do, how you add value, and then turn it over to them and ask and learn more about them and start asking the questions that you've already prepared. And then I always end the conversation with, would you like to do this again? And if so, let's get our calendars out and figure out the cadence and when, we can either meet in person for a coffee or schedule another Zoom call. And then after that call, follow up, send a thank you, send the invite for the next meeting, and then organize your connections as part of developing your overall networking strategy. And as I had mentioned before, I like to organize my connections as ambassadors, advocates, or acquaintances. So what's that look like? An A referral partner is an ambassador. And as part of my networking strategy, I like to have at least 15 to 20 of these individuals in my network. These are people that have the exact aligned ideal customer profile, they're selling to the same industry, the same size companies. These people happen to be industry thought leaders. They have shared values on how they do business, and they are actively interested in establishing and grooming the relationship between the two of you. And I always suggest that you have contact with these types of individuals, your A referral partners, every 4 to 6 weeks. A B referral partner, which I call advocates, you want to have about 20 or 30 of those individuals and look to continue to develop the relationship and, if possible, convert those to ambassadors, your A referral partners. They have a partially aligned ICP, and they could be service providers in adjacent industries and industry connections with a little bit less overlap than your direct ideal client profile. And the cadence that I like to meet with these people or have Zoom calls is every 8 to 12 weeks. And then a C referral partner is an acquaintance, and you want to have at least 50 of these people. These are people that if you have a blog or a newsletter, you put on your newsletter, and so they're receiving that on a monthly basis. You connect with them and you meet with them and converse with them at networking events, and then you stay in touch with these individuals about every 6 months. So I'd like to share with you 3 networking stories just to kind of frame up the reason for the importance of developing a networking strategy and actually having a categorization of your referral partners. First, let's talk about Distracted Destiny at the donut shop. This was a fractional CMO who focused on digital marketing. And little did Destiny know, but I was actually looking at this first Zoom call that we had, and the gal was based in Florida, as an opportunity to somewhat interview her, because I was personally looking for somebody to develop some content for me and develop a digital marketing, social media strategy for me. Well, Destiny was super involved with all the people around her at the donut shop, waving to people, saying hi, and we had a very interrupted conversation. So at the end of that, I thought, well, I'll give this one more opportunity. And I asked, would you like to talk again? And we ended the call and she said, well, I'm going to send you a link as follow up, which I do with all my referral partners, and you can fill out a form and you will be added to my referral partner network. So if anyone needs your services to help them with sales or revenue issues, I'll give you a call. So I look to other people in my network, obviously, to develop my digital marketing strategy. And someone that a lot of us know and love, a gentleman by the name of Andrew Lopez, became my digital marketer. And I paid him over $10,000 to be able to develop my digital marketing strategy. So that was money that would have been in Destiny's pocket that I gave to somebody else. Then we'll move along to Betty the Banker. This is an individual that I met at a business symposium. We immediately connected. She was amazing. And she had clearly identified and articulated her ideal client profile and how she helps companies. So I kept her in mind, and I actually was being interviewed for a potential engagement with a client. The client was very transparent and said, I don't know that I'm going to be able to afford your services now, but I'm forward thinking. And in a couple of months, what I'd like to do is get a line of credit and, fix some things financially. And then I want to bring you in. So I said, great, if you'd like, I have a wonderful lady I'd love to introduce you to. Well, that client, potential client of mine, is now working on getting a line of credit and getting set up through her bank. And then we'll come back to me and we will re-up the conversation about hiring me to help with their revenue issues and expand their sales team. So that was a really successful referral partner. Last is Last Minute Larry. Last Minute Larry and I were supposed to meet at a Starbucks here in Orange County. And I was sitting there for about 15 minutes and I got a text and it said, hey, sorry, I'm not going to be able to make it. I'm waiting there for him. So I said, okay. He goes, can we reschedule? I said, great. We rescheduled a second, a third, and a fourth time. All of those. So the fifth time we were supposed to meet, I actually had a little bit of a drive. We were meeting for lunch and he said, hey, let me take you to lunch. I keep moving out our appointment. I said, great. So it was about a 30-minute drive to meet this gentleman. He happened to be a fractional COO and very specific niche. He's actually a fractional EOS integrator. And so I'm on the way to our fifth rescheduled lunch and Larry doesn't show up. And I'm sitting there and I look in my email, not even a text. And he said, hey, I am really sorry. I guess it's just not meant to be. Never even said, hey, let's meet up again. So I was a little dismayed by, the fact that this was the fifth time. And coincidentally, a week later, I was talking to one of my colleagues who needed a fractional EOS integrator. So what did I do? I tapped my network for somebody else, provided the name to that, one of my colleagues who now was hired by his client. That was a $10,000 a month contract that Larry missed out on because he just kept rescheduling and then at the end said, I guess this just is not meant to be. So hopefully you can understand the reason why I think it's very important to actually categorize your referral partner relationships. So just to summarize the networking strategy, establishing a network, your strategy up in the left-hand side, you can see it's defining your personal brand, writing your 30-second commercial, identifying your ideal client profile and your ideal referral partner, and then categorizing those into A, B, C. The second is setting monthly accountability goals for yourself in your business, establishing a certain number of weekly or monthly contacts that you would like to make. So for example, in my business, I want to talk to or meet 10 new people. And then third, be intentional in your networking. Have an outline on what you want to cover, prepare questions, and then do research on the individual. Give value. Ask your referral partners, how can I help you? Are there any particular introductions to other people that you'd like to meet in my network? And make those introductions not only to clients, but to other people. So in summary, developing your personal brand includes crafting the right story, having a defined strategy, and building the right network. This will position you for long-term sustainable growth in your business and in building relationships with people. And one last point I'd like to make is the importance of optimizing your professional profile on LinkedIn. This is the first impression that you make with potential clients as well as referral partners. When meeting in person, it's also a great reference point on what you look like. So it's important to have a current profile picture as well. Regardless of how long you've been in business, it's important to consistently upgrade your practice. Ask yourself, are you still living in grandma's old house? Hopefully you found some value in today's discussion. In an ever-changing business climate, I think it's important to update and refresh your strategy, your personal brand, and remodel your practice to ensure that your messaging and branding is still relevant. And I'll leave you with this. Your smile is your logo, your personality is your business card, and how you leave others feeling after an experience with you becomes your trademark.